We are live talking about 4 big YouTube priorities in 2026. These come directly from YouTube CEO Neal Mohan. Super excited to get into these because these are going to matter for us as creatives to know where YouTube is going, where it sees the platform now, and what has happened and what will happen. So I'm really excited here today. Every article I'm talking about is linked in the description. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So, from the CEO to us here on the YouTube platform, we have Neal Mohan. So you can follow along with what I'm saying. So as we enter 2026, the lines between creativity and technology are blurring, sparking new eras of innovation. This inflection point requires ambitious bets. And of course, YouTube always puts out their bets. I see we have people joining us. Thank you for joining us here live. Excited to see what you guys think about this as we read through it. And YouTube says it themselves. YouTube is the epicenter of culture. Our creators are reinventing entertainment, building the media companies of the future, and we continue to be the best place for them to grow a business. Now, one thing I want to just note is that while YouTube long forms are as important as ever, there's multiple ways that YouTube is coming in different spaces here. So they are not only doing normal YouTube VOD or traditional video, right? They're doing YouTube Shorts, so vertical video. They're also doing live streaming, which what we're experiencing right now. They're doing podcasts, they're doing posts. So YouTube is trying to be in multiple places at once. One of the ways they're doing that, which we will dive into, is also how they're able to make money. And there's a lot of interesting stats here. So one thing I wanted to just talk about is they want to be number one. Their first point is they're reinventing entertainment. You know, creators are the new stars in studios. And one interesting thing from this image here is when creators hold the keys to their own production and distribution, the only limit is their imagination. So if you're just joining us, YouTube is saying that creators are the future and that the only limit to our creativity is what we can imagine. If you can dream it, you can build it. It is the time to be a content creator. It has never been easier to broadcast yourself, going back to OG YouTube messaging. But it's really a fun time. And I think that the thing we got to remind ourselves of is as YouTube is putting out their priorities, do they align with what we want to do as creators? For me, a lot of them do, not all of them, but most, right? And I think that's an important, realistic thing we can talk about. So as YouTube is seeing number one, reinventing entertainment, creators of the new stars in studios. I think that's a huge shift that I saw in my time working with more corporate spaces. And the fact that YouTube is the future, it's been the future. It's exciting to see the industry catch up. We have Silly Rory Knight. We have Larry, aka Home Rapid Repair. We have Living with Parkinson's. We have Tech Fariana. And look, we're going to keep going and we're going to keep talking about different things here. So as we go, I love that YouTube says our creators and artists, viewers come to YouTube to immerse themselves in the biggest cultural moments. They want a front row seat to the Super Bowl action from creators, and they mention a lot of talented creators. They talk about Oscar coverage, and if you didn't know, YouTube is actually going to be taking over Oscar coverage. I believe this actually links to it. Yes, it talks about Hollywood's biggest night is coming to YouTube. Again, YouTube, this is not a one-off. They are really doing their best so that people can enjoy and understand the power of the platform. For 20 years, YouTube has been here. It is the number one thing on TV, and they talk about that, right? And this is important for if you're watching and you're like, oh, I really only care about, how my videos look. YouTube is no longer just on our computers or on our phones. It's everywhere. And I think that is so important to remember, is that YouTube is multi-platform, and multi-platform is the future, right? YouTube has a format on every screen, whether it is your tablet, whether it is your VR device, whether it's your TV, whether it is you can get YouTube everywhere. It's insane. I can get it on my car through, Apple Play. Like, YouTube is everywhere. And thus you should consider that because YouTube is on so many different formats. One thing as creators that I see we have gotten guilty of, a lot of creators create things for desktop viewers still. YouTube is more watched on phones and TVs than people realize. So yes, the desktop experience is important, but it's not the only important thing. And that is what I love about YouTube talking about their priorities. And it goes back to, every format has its strengths. So let's look at this. I think it's important that we look at this. So every format on every screen, whether they're watching on a small screen in their hand or the largest screen in the home, viewers choose YouTube for unmatched breadth. So long form, shorts, music videos, live streams, podcasts, heck, community posts. And one thing that's interesting, and I'm glad they talk about it, from niche interest to global trends, viewers are finding that they love on shorts. So they're finding things. There's 200 billion daily views on YouTube Shorts. That's billion with a B and daily, meaning that people are using YouTube Shorts every day. If you still think YouTube Shorts are a fad, they are here to stay. YouTube Shorts were introduced in 2020. YouTube is a 20-year-old platform. That is 1/4 of the platform's life has been with YouTube Shorts. Now, YouTube Shorts, my stance on it has evolved. I really enjoy them. It is a great way to make a new audience if the shorts you are making match the content on the channel. If you make shorts that don't fit what you're making on the channel, you can't be surprised when they don't align with what is being served to viewers. YouTube has changed. The you in YouTube used to be you and me, broadcast yourself. But now it is not only us, but it is you, the audience watching. If you've been here before, you've heard me say it. It's important to bring it up. Hello here, Kathy Fit. Good to see you. I want to know, though, so far, what has been your biggest takeaway from this? For me, I think it is every format on every screen. It is so important to remember that YouTube is everywhere, and we need to consider being everywhere as well. 200 billion daily views. That is an insane amount of views. What are your thoughts on that number? It always surprises me. I also think this one is huge, and people have been glossing over it. YouTube has been #1 in streaming watch time in US for nearly 3 years, according to Nielsen. Now, if you don't know what Nielsen is, that's fine. Nielsen is the OG stats tracker for linear television. You can do some research on Nielsen numbers. I can tell you that traditional television is watching YouTube because YouTube is the future. YouTube is TV. So here's what I would say. If TV killed the radio star, YouTube might be killing the TV star. And I know that's a bold take, but it's true. YouTube is what kids want to be when they grow up. It used to be movie stars. YouTube is the place where, as we'll get into this article, almost over 500,000 new creatives have started jobs. It is an economy. It is fueling the economy, and YouTube is the future. Back in the day, when I went to college, I had two choices. I could do tried and true traditional linear and film distribution, or at the time, and keep in mind this is 2012, experimental digital, which was YouTube, Netflix, etc. I bet on YouTube, experimental digital, and boy, has that paid off. And it has been exciting because I've done this now for over a decade. And what I've said back then is being proven true today in this article, and it's being proven true time and time again. It's exciting. So I want to know what people are thinking. I see from Stanley, they set the bar. I agree. YouTube is an entirely different levels to home rapid repair. Great to see you there. Imagine with Gretchen. Happy to have you here. You know, since you're talking about imagination, so is YouTube. And again, I want to reiterate that point. YouTube says when creators hold the key to their own production, and distribution, the only limit is their imagination. Imagination, which Gretchen's got imagination to spare. So just wanted to give a fun little shout out, have a little bit of fun there. But I think it's important that we talk about these things. I'm seeing more things from Jim. We always talk about TikTok. So it's interesting how much traffic is done on shorts. My son doesn't use TikTok, but he watches shorts. It's a YouTube native. Yes, 100%. And I think it's a great point. And you know, look, TikTok's not a bad platform. I know many creatives who have made, their platforms on TikTok, but eventually they all come to YouTube. Similar to what we saw with Vine. And I get it. Another thing I want to talk about is, we talked about YouTube being #1. You can win Emmys from YouTube, and even Miss Rachel. If you don't know who Miss Rachel is, she is huge in the toddler learning space, the 3 to 5-year-olds, very large on YouTube Kids, 18.6 million subscribers. If you have someone with a little, Miss Rachel. Miss Rachel is very, very good. She was a preschool educator that took her love of educating and came to YouTube and creates content that is very good for development for young children. And I think that's incredible. I think the fact that anyone, and I mean this, if you are watching right now, what this priority show us is that the only limit is our imaginations as creators. And I'm so grateful to be here with all of you. We have the Can Do creator community showing up. This job didn't exist years ago. When I was in school, this didn't exist, and it exists now, and it will get only better for future creatives. And that's the power of the internet. That's the power of the future. And I'm happy, man. I love these kind of things. Miss Rachel, yes, love her. We love Miss Rachel. Aw, thanks, Andrew. Got to keep this old brain creative, and imagination is key. Absolutely. And look, imagination isn't just for, Gretchen. It's for all of us. And if we dream to do it and we put our hearts to it and we do it the right way, look, I never thought any of this was possible, but if I can, you can too. And what YouTube is showing us with their priorities in 2026 is we need to be ready for the yeses, and that's what I'm here for. Now, if you didn't know, YouTube TV, it is not to be confused with just the standard YouTube app. It is a paid offering they offer. It has a lot of things. They've won technical Emmys for multi-view, which is something really cool. But when we talk about Miss Rachel, and if you notice the kind of through lines that YouTube is doing here, you know, they kind of hint at Miss Rachel. And if you really want to study good writing, this article is super well written. One point flows beautifully into the other. And I would say that one thing you can gather is how YouTube is kind of hooking us as we go along. You know, we gotta be on top of these things. So I don't believe there's another image, but if there is, I can get out of here so you can read it. But, you know, if you didn't know, this is important because building the best place for teens, kids and teens rely on YouTube to learn. Learning is huge. A lot of people think that it is only adults on YouTube. If you think that, there is a huge part of the audience that is 13 to 17. You can see which part of your audience is in your analytics. So my audience tends to skew older. I usually get 18 to about 44. So knowing this, YouTube, one, there is laws like COPPA, which is the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act here in the States. In Australia, they just made it to where certain social medias, you need to be 16 or older to be on those platforms. So YouTube is talking about it. According to the Oxford Economic Survey, 79% of US teachers who use YouTube agrees it helps students learn. And if you are someone like Beanie Draws, who teaches people how to draw incredible dinosaurs, maybe you're Gretchen, who has an incredible imagination, maybe you're Larry, you don't understand that these students could be learning from you. And if they are learning from you, you don't have to necessarily cater to them. And I mean that as in, like, you're not necessarily talking down to them. People respect being treated as equals. But kids and teens are on this platform, so keep that in mind of who's watching your videos. I was talking with a creative recently, and her whole audience was based on moms who are 40 plus, but she was actually reaching a lot of younger mothers who enjoyed her, and they were starting to feel alienated by her hard focusing on that 40 plus crowd. Not that it's bad, but she was talking about mothers in the late stage, and there are a lot of mothers who have their children late, and there's nothing wrong with that, but she didn't realize that she was speaking to mothers, not just mothers of a certain age, right? And so that's important to keep in mind too. And there's a lot of different ways that we can learn, a lot of different ways that we can remind ourselves. And so whether you think of it or not, I actually had someone who I met at VidCon he was 12 at the time, and I was talking with his parents. Her parents were there. They were very kind, very respectful. They were there because they wanted to support their son's ambition. And he told me that he only started YouTube because he saw me do it. And I talked about how I literally came from, you know, a small town, and look at where I'm at. You know, anything can happen. So it is really good to see. Doug says happy Friday, Thursday for us here in the US, but Doug's in the future. I see from Larry, kids wanted to be doctors or astronauts and then pro athletes, and now it's YouTube or a streamer for sure. Absolutely. People's lives have changed because of the internet. And because I have met YouTube, I have been changed for good. Shout outs if you get that reference. I see this from Jim. YouTube has been big for early education for a while now. It's cool to see that they're paying even more attention to it. Absolutely. And if you didn't know, there's education settings now within Google. There's Google Classroom. There's so much that Google and YouTube do for students. It's actually quite impressive. YouTube player for education. What an incredible idea. Absolutely. Maybe but where's Wally? One thing I see is one of the videos I did a few years ago ended up in some teacher's Google Classroom at some point. At least it looks like that for my analytics. That's incredible. And again, it is being shared. I agree, Doug, the future is bright. And if you want to see where that bright future is going, and in another incredible take, you should go ahead and subscribe to Doug Houston, who I have no doubt is going to cover this stuff in his Saturday stream coming here soon. Doug, don't make a liar out of me. Go subscribe to Doug if you haven't already. Show off says, nah, I'm going to go ahead and start celebrating Friday, says Stanley. Look, it's Friday somewhere. Hey, if it could be 5 o'clock somewhere, I'm sure it could be Friday somewhere, okay? Give me this. Now, as we're going back, when it comes to kids and teens, we have a strong track record of offering age-appropriate experiences from the launch of YouTube Kids, over 10 years of YouTube Kids. So this isn't new. I was talking to someone about this the other day. They're like, I really wish YouTube had something for kids. I'm like, YouTube has had a kids app for a decade. Now, that is no shade to that person. but they didn't know. And it's okay not to know things, but you can also, ironically, Google. Like, and they did tell me when I'm like, it's actually been around for 10 years. I probably could have Googled that. And I went, yeah, but hey, they know now. And here's the thing. Last weekend, YouTube announced the strength to simplify parent controls. I think this is interesting. It reflects on their core beliefs that parents should decide what's right for their families. Parents will soon be able to control how much time kids and teens spend scrolling shorts. Now, I actually saw an article, and I want to see if I can pull this up because it's a little newer research, but I do think it's important to have these conversations. Look, I love YouTube. I think YouTube does incredible stuff. I think YouTube has been huge in a lot of positivity, but, you know, shorts are newer. And this one I saw was from, you know, it was from NBC News. So this is a news source, and I'll make sure to actually include this article too. And let me see if I can just go full screen. Whoop. Sorry, trying to go full screen here. Get myself out of there. But it talks about there are some data that's coming out that shows there are maybe some negative side effects to all this. And I do think it's important that we talk about that too. So it's from Angela Yang. Want to shout out to the writer here. And she did a bunch of research and she talked to a bunch of people. And so it's seeming there could be some negative effects. So I bring this up and I flag this because if this is true, and I got to think, you know, YouTube is aware of it. You know, they're doing their best. But at the end of the day, they are a platform. They're going to try to make money, right? Let's all be real. I think the fact that they offer time setting for shorts, honestly, I wish that was just a feature in general. Yes, it's great for children. But I know some people that said that either one, they would love zero shorts as an option, which I understand that, but I like shorts. So I don't tend to watch them too much on YouTube, but I do tend to actually enjoy them every now and then. But I do keep in mind time because it can be a time sink. And I try to put for YouTube shorts myself when it comes to creating content for shorts. You know, last week we talked about the 9 kind of feelings that you can get with any content you make. For me, when it comes to YouTube short, I try to put more good out there than bad. I try to be more educational than maybe like gotcha and grabbing of attention. And that's worked. I mean, I've had shorts with hundreds of thousands of views now. I have had shorts that go really well out of the gate and some that take time, right? But I think it's smart that YouTube is including a timer on YouTube shorts, not only for kids and teens, but I think in general, I think people would like to see those different things. So would love to know what you guys think when it comes to putting time limits on YouTube shorts. So if you're unaware, yeah, I would love to know, what are your thoughts on YouTube, you know, being able to control how much time kids and teens spend scrolling on shorts? I think it's good. I think overall I'm excited to see what this does. And I think, you know, even for adults, limiting it, I think could be useful. Now, I want to go ahead and I see there's an image. So let us change. Let me change the layout here in the StreamYards. Wrong side. Now I'm covering the article. 1 second. I believe should be right here. Yep. There we go. So the next one is powering the creator economy. For every idea a creator dreams up, we provide the business model to match. Now, what does YouTube mean by that? They're powering the creator economy. This, if you learn anything from this, this is the most important thing in this article. YouTube remains the original and largest creator economy. Creators call us home because we offer the most stable path to earn. In the past 4 years alone, YouTube has paid out $100 billion to creators. I want to reiterate, YouTube in the last 4 years has paid $100 billion to creators. That is an economy that did not exist in history, and it now does. Thanks to the power of YouTube on online video sharing, whether you're on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, whatever platform is your home of choice. This economy exists, and YouTube putting $100 billion into it is huge. This comes from their 2026 priorities and plans. This also came from research they did. It is incredible that that has come. If you have earned a penny on YouTube, you are a part of that $100 billion. You are changing the world. You're changing economies at scale, and YouTube is home of that. And of course, they're proud of it. I understand it. This is great, to be honest. I think brain rot existed before online. However, doom scrolling supercharges it. As a mom, controlling it makes sense, but easier. 100 billion is absolutely wild. It is. And that's not even the wildest stat to me that they put out. The next one is still kind of crazy too. 490,000 full-time jobs as creators built businesses and hired employees. 490,000. 490,000 full-time jobs have happened because of YouTube. So when people are telling you, if you're a YouTuber and people say, get a real job, YouTube is not only a real job, it is creating jobs. It is creating 490,000 jobs because of YouTube creators. That's incredible. That's hard work. That's dedication of everyone out there. I know some of you hire and employ people. I've had the opportunity and the luxury to do that. It is an incredible thing that because of YouTube, we can change economies, we can change people's lives, and we can build community, real community. And if you are part of any community that you have made on YouTube, let me know. I'd love to hear. Obviously, I'd also love if you joined the Can Do Creator community, links in the description. However, I think it's incredible. Preach, says Doug. If I'm speaking, I'm preaching. That's actually surprising to me. Maybe I can be 490,001, says Jim. Well, as an editor, I guess I am. I was about to say, Jim, I've actually hired you before. You are exactly in this. Or not surprising, says Beanie. Don't want to misspeak. 100 billion is absolutely wild. Hello, Dimmy. Happy to have you. Update we've all been waiting for. Beanie has found his mouse. But no, it is so crazy to see all of this. And like, I've made so many friends. I've had the opportunity to hang out with Beanie in person. I've gotten to meet so many incredible people. I've met Doug because of Vid Summit. Like half of the stuff that is existing here is because of this platform. And I love it. I'm glad YouTube is taking note and sharing it. But they're not done. They want more ways for creators to earn. For every idea a creator dreams up, we provide the business model to match. This year, we'll continue to invest in different ways to earn. Now, earlier, if you hadn't seen it, they're talking about the YouTube Partner Program. And actually, they need to update their own website because they've paid 100 billion. This should be updated. I know YouTube sometimes watches. Crazy. Thank you if you're from YouTube watching this. Update this website. Be proud of it. But you can actually see how YouTube thinks of this. There's stuff on here that they're updating constantly. So yeah, they're talking about Jewels, which is basically if you're on TikTok or Twitch, it's a different way that you can gift if you're watching a vertical live stream. Still need to experiment with that coming in the future. Gifts, obviously, we're aware of, and they talk about specific creators that use it. Shout outs to those creators. They're focusing on making YouTube a premier shopping destination. I didn't know this. With over 500,000 creators already in YouTube shopping, I'm happy to be one of those. Larry, I believe, Home Rapid Repair in the chat's one of them. YouTube shopping's great. Lower the barrier to entry, YouTube. 10,000 is too high. If you say 1,000 subscribers is full monetization, make it 1,000. Come on. Next one is brand partnerships. I love this update. They are critical. I will be transparent. I have made a lot of my income on YouTube, not through YouTube AdSense, but brand partnerships. And I think what they're offering next, this next thing, if you take anything from this, if you're an inspiring creator, the way YouTube works is going to change. Videos you watch with embedded ad reads will also change. And I think this is insane. I love the idea that this can be something that is going to change this platform. And I think for the better, because it's going to add more value to how brand deals work. So if you didn't know, brand partnerships are critical. So we're making it easier for influencer marketing agency and brands to find and hire creators. And it's true. If you click on the brand partnerships, it talks about how they're building it, what they're working on. This is from December of 2025. So yeah, they're working really hard on this. Now, they've built a partnership hub. They have it. It's pretty decent. We're also giving creators new tools. And this is where I said it gets exciting. New tools for creatives. And anytime there's a new tool from YouTube, we love it. So new tools to make these partnerships successful, like the ability to add a link to a brand site in Shorts, which that's going to be huge for affiliate links. If I can have my affiliate link dedicated, go to the brand and they can click it on the YouTube app or on the TV or on their VR headset or wherever they're watching, which is crazy. Mind you, there's so many ways to watch YouTube. The fact that they can click a button across devices and buy is going to change how creators make money. And it's going to take that 500 billion That 500,000, that almost 500,000 have been able to make jobs on it. That 100 billion could turn into 500 billion is what I was trying to say. Let me not misspeak. And this next one, swap out a branded segment once a deal concludes. So now, moving forward, I could, in theory, use my back catalog of content that still earns views, gets watch time, gets people interested. And instead of having hard baked in brand deals on a video, I could do this. And when the brand deal is over, let's say I work with a brand for a year, they own all those slots. After that, I can sell it again. And that is so powerful. That's something we never had before. It's something called dynamic ad insertion, which is kind of more of a traditional television thing. Look, I gotta use that film degree for something. So please let me have this. So it's cool to see YouTube doing this as well. It's cool to see this in a different way. And what I will tell you is being able to now have a dedicated brand sponsor. For example, here's an example of a brand sponsorship I could do. I have my own membership. So maybe in this video, I dedicate a spot to, if you want to join a YouTube membership where you can grow and learn how to do better on YouTube, consider joining the Can Do Creators Community membership linked in the description, right? That's a hard baked in, shout outs, but that's a hard baked in brand integration, right? And that means as us as creators, if brands want it in the video and not in these slotted segments, they got to pay more for that. And that's a good thing. That gives you and me more bargaining power. Also, I can't stress this enough. You got to be more careful on brand deals moving forward, and you got to check languages. So all of this is really exciting. What do you think about some of the new ways you can make money on YouTube? Always interested to see, what people think. So I see people are welcoming Dimmy. I want to be hired, LOL. Need the moolah, says Kathy Fit. Well, I need you and Beanie to up your channels first. So writers, filmers, sound crew, even customer service is part of the YouTube. Yes, absolutely. It's all part of the YouTube economy. I have actually found a few great communities around Parkinson's disease here on YouTube, and it's awesome. I love that, living with Parkinson's. Make it 1,000, says Kathy. Heck yeah. I think YouTube shopping was 20K subs before letting me in the pro. Actually, I know it was 10K home rapid repair. I know because I told you, and it was 10K when I told you. It should still be lower. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to call it the full partner program, please just make it 1,000. I know YouTube's working on it. I know it's easy for me to say it and harder to implement, but yes, please. Hello there, Dimmy. I love the idea of being able to swap brand deals out. It gives so many more choices to creators. Yes. Now, if they want it in video, brands got to pay more for it. And it gives us as creators more bargaining power. Anytime us as creators can do that, that's good. I also think with that like those dynamic ad inserts, if someone buys a membership to my channel, please just let me not show those people ads. Let it act like premium, where by buying membership, there should be no ads on my channel. I want that so desperately. It may have been added. I haven't been super on track with memberships, if that's a feature. Doug, keep me honest. Also, create an Amazon wish list and link in your video description. You might be surprised. Yeah, no, 100%. You should have some stuff like that. Yes, it's true. Sleeping on YouTube shopping program till Andrew KN kicked my butt. Look, Larry, I only do it because I care. If I didn't care, I wouldn't do it. The same to you, Beanie and Kathy Fit. You called me out for roasting you. But look, if I am giving you feedback, I care. I literally love YouTube. It is what I have studied for years. It is what I'm passionate about. I get to create on this platform. And I have had the ability to be on camera behind the scenes of some of the largest YouTube channels. And it is never boring. I love this so much. And I love that creators are building their own industry, that they are changing lives. If you're creating on YouTube or thinking about creating on YouTube, you literally are creating part of someone else's story, your own story. You are touching people in ways that you may not know. You are reaching folks, helping folks. There's so many ways that people are being helped by YouTubers every single day. And my simple question, if you're considering helping people on YouTube or even creating on YouTube, why not you? It should be you. So why not you? Now, as we're going through this, what has been the most exciting thing for you? I'm very curious. I see here, personally, I don't mind brand deal ads when a creator makes them cool, fun, creative. Some YouTubers are so good that I don't mind watching the ad. That's actually a good point. But I also know it can be stressful for a lot of creatives, right? So having just a blanket one that's applied, and I think it's a little extra added to membership of a unique channel on YouTube. I think there are ways that you can do it. And Kathy Fitz says, and we call you out because we care. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. She's working on fan art, apparently, of me roasting her and Beanie. So maybe in the next live streams here, we show that off. But let's go back to these articles. Now, they're committed to building the most diversified economy in the world, one that turns creators' unique vision into a sustainable global business. Now, here's the next one, and this is pretty big. Now, I know a lot of creators have strong opinions about AI. I lean a little optimistic. I like AI, but not necessarily generative AI. I'm also the kind of person where I will ask an artist that I hire, am I allowed to use AI to ideate, to better get my, try to get my idea visualized and let you be the creative, let you do what you need. But I use it as a tool to help assist me. I know that's not how everyone uses it, and I understand there's a lot. But this is number 4, and it's supercharging and safeguarding creativities. YouTube has put out that on average, more than 1 million channels used AI creation tools daily in December. YouTube has come out and said that over 1 million channels used AI creation tools in December on YouTube. That is a huge amount of creatives. When I was at Adobe Max, Adobe said that like 70% of creatives have used some form of AI. AI that is not Gen AI, just AI in general that could save time. Some things that are just AI that you might use on YouTube. Captions, transcripts, those are AI being used. It's not generative AI, but it's assistive AI. That I think is something that's important. YouTube has made it a priority to not only supercharge, but safeguard creativity. One of the ways that YouTube does this is AI likeness detection, which is in beta, but I've seen it work and it's pretty interesting. It lets you know if someone is using an AI version of yourself to make content. And as someone who in their career, someone tried to buy my likeness in perpetuity, your likeness is so important. There's a reason that people try to get it and try to buy it. Please, as a creative, you should never sell your likeness forever. You can maybe look with a lawyer, a good one, about leasing it. But please be careful when it comes to AI. Please be careful. Again, I'm more AI positive than most. Closed captions AI has been around for like 10 years, says Beanie. Yep, back then it was just machine learning. Andrew, you and everybody on this channel have been a real inspiration. Help me make through my speech impediment. Well, thank you. So, living with Parkinson's, I have had the absolute pleasure of watching your content. You make such good stuff, and thank you always for the kind words. I feel like how I feel about AI too. AI has eliminated the skill of stick figure drawing. Beanie says, look, shout outs to stick figure animations back in the day. That's always going to be an art for me. I helped convince her to draw it. No, that was Kathy Fit that made that drawing. Not MeTube, it's YouTube. Very fair. Very fair. AI for translation has been pretty cool. I've actually watched a few videos with AI dubs. See, that's another use of AI on the platform. So YouTube is talking about safeguarding it, supercharging. Let's read. For years, AI has been the quiet engine behind our most important innovation, like recommending the next video to watch, helping us keep volatile content. I just can't read. I'm also reading this on my teleprompter and I need to zoom in, but I'm also trying not to zoom in too much. So, because see, if I zoom in too much, I like lose my spot. So this might be easier for you too. Content off the platform. To build on this momentum, there are 4 areas we must get right. And these are YouTube's 4 areas, right? The new creative frontier. Just as the synthesizer, Photoshop, and CGI revolutionized sound and visual, AI will be a boon to creatives who are ready to lean in. On average, more than 1 million channels used our AI creation tools daily in December. This year, you'll be able to create a short using your own likeness, produce games with a simple text prompt, and experiment with music. Now, I don't know how I feel, and I will go full screen. I want to read this again. You'll be able to create a short using your own likeness. YouTube is saying that creators can now make YouTube shorts in the future using their own likeness with AI. I don't know how I feel about that. There are some people I know, friends of mine, who use AI avatars and they love it. I am very hesitant and skeptical. I have had in my career companies try to buy my rights and likeness. I have been pleasured and privileged enough to be faces of some companies here on YouTube. And the idea that my likeness could still be used in that way, I'm glad that I, in theory, am the one using my likeness, but there needs to be even more protections. There are so many ways that, if not careful, this can get dangerous. I'm not sure if I will use AI likeness in the immediate future. I won't rule it out if I'm doing it, but I'm also unsure, and I'm leaning towards probably not. However, I would love your opinions. I think using your likeness to make content, and I guess it's you prompting, and I guess it's you. How are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on AI avatars in general? I just gave you mine. Always kind of curious on that. People love AI influencers. Look, I have to admit, there is one influencer. He does nothing but sour cream content. He's got the sour cream market on lock. Daisy, hire this man. Shout out to Ivan if you watch this. But I do find that kind of engaging. I see stick figure animations are awesome. For now, AI is fun and creative and great for search, but the dark days of the Terminator are coming in 5 to 10 years, says Drew Cav. Interesting. I actually like that part of the AI dub is that it'll translate your description and title too. So I just set my AI dub to review the language and I never review it. So I'll have the translated description and title, but not the audio. Fair enough. Comes from Ike. The Terminator will be AI. Living with Parkinson's, thank you so much for joining the YouTube membership. This is not to be confused with our full service group coaching membership, which is kdcc.social/membership. But by joining the YouTube membership, we give you a month of our full service membership. So Living with Parkinson, I believe you're in our Discord server. Please reach out to us. We'll make sure that you get that trial as well. I see this from Jim. I tested cloning with my voice to see what it sounded like. Definitely sounded like me, but in general, I'd like to keep my face and voice to myself. Absolutely. I'll give it a go, but probably I'll never publish it, says Ike. Fun fact, Nick Nimmin is an AI avatar. Well, you can't spell Niminati without AI. Think about it. I don't know how fun or fact. Sour cream, yes, there are influencers for everything these days. This will be harsh, but my opinion, making an AI avatar to appear on camera for you is one of the cringiest things you can do as a creator, says Beanie. Interesting. Now, I do know some people use AI for VTubing, and they'll use their AI avatar. Interesting. I've heard of this. I've not seen it personally, but I was talking to some creator friends where they use their AI avatar as a skeleton so that they don't have to get ready and they just are basically VTubing as themselves, which I guess is something you can do. Interesting. I guess also it's one way to be immortal, because I could technically look like whatever age Andrew I put in my VTube model forever. It's interesting. I don't know. I don't know. Well, again, I leave that to you. Sour cream ASMR. Hey, you'd be surprised. I know it, Nimin. Stop. LOL. I think people are reacting to you can't spell Niminati without AI. I see this from Stanley. Yeah, I'm not doing it. Nothing against it. I just be smart about it. People come to me for genuine connection. I'm not going to be an AI wedge between me and that viewer. Absolutely, and that makes sense. Interesting. I agree with Beanie. And I don't mean for faceless channels or VTubers. I mean people who already have their face, like Bubble Cop or whatever. Yeah, fair enough. I see this from Ike. That's the equivalent of when I used to take a screenshot of my room and put it as the background of my green screen. So you're talking about using like a more primed and proper AI avatar VTube version of you. Fair enough. Fair enough. Honestly, I also don't like how many videos I run across that are faceless, but also use AI voice. That really bothers me, especially when the channel obviously generated the script too. Fair enough. I also will say, and I've been very upfront, I use AI not to write my script, But I understand that the national reading average in the US is around 4th to 6th grade. So I'll use it to be like, hey, is there anything that might be too complicated for a 4th to 6th grade reading level? Thankfully, it does a decent job in being like, hey, you probably should explain this. And like, you kind of started this point, but you really, for that kind of reading level, should, consider this. And I'll take those suggestions. I'll still write it my own way and then I'll check it again. But that's how I tend to use it. I will say, and this has been really interesting, by doing that, I've seen my retention go up anywhere between 10 to 30% per video. And it just reminds you that like, you don't not know what people don't know, right? And it's good to have a second pair of eyes. I could ask friends, and I have. I've asked Ike to read scripts for me. I've asked Stanley to read scripts for me. But I also don't want to be like, hey guys, can you always double check? And that's where I will use it. I've always been pretty upfront about that. I don't care how you made your script, but don't make it obvious you copy and pasted. That bothers me. Kathy Fitz says it should be used that way. Interesting. I watched a channel who was a real person in real voice, but I could tell their entire script was AI. AI is far too poetic. It doesn't use words human. Hey, now I've been told for years, and I want this to be known, since 2013, people have accused me for being a robot. I just tend to be a little metaphor heavy and poetic. I never used an M dash. I've not been big on M dashes, but for those who like M dashes, I hate that it's been a signifier for AI use because some people just like a good M dash. Dang it. Sorry, I gotta get off this high horse. It should be how you use it, Andrew. Oh, thank you. I see. I don't like when it starts making up cute terms for concepts that sound like a professional speaker. Yeah, I have seen, but that comes from, there are some industry terms that people throw around casually. Like, it can happen. Now, what also can happen is, we can get back to this because we've gotten a little far. I do think it's interesting that you can produce games with a simple text prompt. And I think like if that's interesting and fun for users, I'm not opposed to it. I think music with AI is also interesting, like interesting experimentation. I don't tend to play around with it, though I know and understand why artists are upset by this usage. I will say that as someone who doesn't create music, it's interesting, but I understand the harm it could cause. Another thing I like is they do talk about transparency and protection, and it is becoming harder to detect what's real and what's AI generated. This is particularly critical when it comes to deepfakes. I have had friends and creatives who have had their worlds completely changed due to deepfake technology. It is not just silly little memes. It can really hurt people. Deepfaking is something that can be very awful, and I'm glad to see that they're putting this protection. This is particularly critical when it comes to deepfakes. We clearly label content created by YouTube's AI products, and creators must disclose when they've created realistic, altered, or synthetic content. Because labels aren't always enough, we remove any harmful synthetic media that violates our community guidelines. We're also building out the foundation of Content ID, a system our partners have trusted for well over a decade to equip creators with new tools to manage the use of their likeness in AI-generated content. This has been pretty helpful. I've seen some creators use it, both male and female. One of the things that gets brought up in this debate is that, oh, this is more for women. I've seen friends that are male have had their likeness stolen in ways that have been shocking. Dr. Mike actually talked about this pretty recently. Dr. Mike is a large creator who's actually a doctor. And so his likeness has been used a lot. Him, MKBHD, another large tech YouTuber, have been used their likeness on this platform to shell out different like tech and wellness products. Mr. Beast has had his likeness stolen. So I think that's important. I also think YouTube really doubling down on the NoFakes Act here is something they've been pretty vocal about, and they're really going through with it. I also think it's interesting that they're talking about managing AI slop. If you don't know what slop is, the rise of AI has concerns about low quality content, aka AI slop. As an open platform, we allow for a broad range of free expression while ensuring YouTube remains a place where people feel good spending their time. Over the past 20 years, we've learned not to impose any preconceived notions on the creator ecosystem. Today, once odd trends like ASMR and watching other people play video games are mainstream hits, but with the openness comes a responsibility to maintain the high quality viewing experience that people want. To reduce the spread of low quality AI content, we're building on our established systems that have been very successful in combating spam and clickbait, and they're reducing the spread of low quality and repetitive content. What are your thoughts on their stance on AI slop? I've seen a lot of slop on a lot of platforms. So just food for thoughts. Like to know what people think about slop in general. I don't even know what an M dash is, says Beanie. I love M dashes and now I'm afraid to use them. I am an M dash lover, says some people. We're getting a lot of love for the M dash. Did we derail Andrew with AI? It's a hot topic. We need a whole stream for that. I don't think we derailed. I think because it's literally in YouTube's priority, it's not a derailment. It's more on focus to this. But I do have a lot of thought. Look, I love helpful AI. I am a proud Opus Clip partner. I am a proud Adobe Express ambassador. Both of them use AI in very helpful ways. YouTube itself has AI. They've not been shy about it. But I like the safeguards, and I think the more that comes about that is better. I did watch a video of a guy recreate Doom using AI. Interesting. Hello there, Mac Movement. Dr. Mike Love in the house. You think you could get a likeness detection, but for cats and dogs? To be fair, that'd be interesting too. I saw our prime minister have his likeness used in AI ads on YouTube. Interesting. Some people have no shame with their use of AI and take advantage of the consumer. Absolutely. Sloppy is the ladle of food you are served up in a cowboy movies or just crap AI videos via ingesting other people's blog content. Yep. Use AI to find and remove AI slop. It's so meta when you think about it. It's the Spider-Man meme. You're AI. No, you're AI. It really is AI to detect AI slop. Sounds good, just don't want to be lumped in. Fair enough. Cream of the crop content. Hey, fair enough. Slop needs to be stopped. I applaud YouTube for the takedown, the lazy creation, not AI, just AI makes it easier. Fair enough. I do think that, again, to see the way that people are using content creating is always interesting. And I think that YouTube, I love that they acknowledge like some things that didn't seem like commonplace stuff is now common stuff. So this is how they're transforming the viewer experience. AI will act as a bridge between curiosity and understanding. In December alone, more than 20 million users learned more about the content they watch through our Ask tool. Asking questions like, what's the story behind the song's lyrics, or what ingredients do I need to make this recipe? We're also using AI to make more videos accessible. In December, YouTube averaged more than 6 million daily viewers who watch at least 10 minutes of auto-dubbed content. 6 million daily viewers. That is more people than in some countries. That is insane. And I think it is great that people are enjoying that feature. I will tell you, if you speak multiple languages, check the translation. I can't stress that one enough. I've seen some horror stories for some friends where the AI auto dub has gotten a little weird or like just completely missed. So just look, it's good, but not perfect. Okay. But ultimately, YouTube is focused, and I think that's really cool. I think the fact that they're transforming the viewer experience, I think the fact that more people have access, right? So in December, YouTube averaged more than 6 million daily viewers who watch at least 10 minutes of auto-dub content. What that means for you and me is that people are not only having not to make new channels for different languages, but we can now treat YouTube audiences as a global platform. That's one of the biggest differences between YouTube and any other medium. I love television. I think a lot of cool content has been there. But with tools like auto dubbing and letting YouTube be a global platform, with that being used by 6 million people, that is more people than some countries. This is here to stay. This is a huge thing. And this is an assistive AI that I like. Please, if you speak the other languages, review it. If you can, maybe figure out how good the dubbing is. I have seen some issues with it, but overall more positive than negative. YouTube ultimately is focusing on ensuring AI serves people ideally, we'll see how that goes, who make YouTube great. The creators, the artists, the partners, and billions of viewers who are looking to capture, experience, and share a deeper connection to the world around them. And with AI auto dubbing, that connection to the world around us is getting easier, and I think it's a good thing. Now here's YouTube's bet on the future. If you're wondering, how does all of this affect me? Millions of people's lives have been changed through YouTube. Billions, actually. Over 500,000 jobs have been created. $100 billion has been made in the last 4 years on YouTube. And YouTube is not going anywhere. It's only going to get better, and it's only going to be a future large economy for those who care. And if you're here, you care. If you made it this far, you care. And I thank you for your time. We're not done. We're still going. There's so much here. Flash in your pan. Good to see you. It's been a bit, but always welcome here on the channel. Now, here's YouTube's bet on the future. This comes from Neal Mohan. Again, this article is in his point of view. Neal is often asked to predict who the most important creator on YouTube will be in 5 or 10 years. His answer is always the same. It's someone you've never heard of, and that person is starting their channel today. If you just started your YouTube channel today at the time of watching this, welcome. We're happy to have you. This platform is for everyone, and as long as you follow the rules and are doing things right. And I think that's incredible. And that's what makes me so energized, says Neal, to continue building the stage of this generation and the ones to come next. If we do our jobs right, YouTube is the future for so many people. And there are doctors who still keep their day job and make YouTube content. There are lawyers who keep their day job and make YouTube content. And that knowledge, that transference, that is so incredible. And that's what makes YouTube YouTube. If you are an artist, if you have been creating, if you are here now, how has YouTube changed your life? For me, I've shared the story, but I'll share it again. I did not want to be on camera. I was terrified, but I got a job in a YouTube company called TubeBuddy. Shout out to TubeBuddy. I was lucky enough to grow their YouTube channel from 6,000 to over 500,000 subscribers. That got me from behind the camera and on camera, where I am right now. I've been able to meet so many people in person. I've been able to have had my life fundamentally changed forever because of YouTube. And because of YouTube, I have been changed for the better, for good. Shout out to Wicked. But also, this is a platform like no other. And I want to hear your stories. How has YouTube changed your life? How did you get here on this live stream? Let's share some of that. Because YouTube's big plans and priorities are to invest in creators. And you should invest in creators by understanding your audience. And here's another thing you may not know. You're not in the know. While people are typing that in, we're not done. There's some other YouTube updates. Hello there, Dylan. Hello there, Dylan. Mac, got a lot of people. Oh, AutoTranscript had their moment of throwing profanities and otherwise not profane videos. I've used Ask Tool a couple of times. Yeah. Ask Studio, very helpful. Good to see you flash in your pan. Getting some more comments as we're going in. We're not done with updates, though. We are not done with updates. I had an underperforming video, and I asked YouTube Studio to look at it, and it made 2 small tweaks to my title using search data from the platform. That is the future. And like, look, I've seen, if a YouTube coach tells you not to use Ask Studio, here's the truth. Ask Studio is great. You should be using it. Keep in mind, it can be wrong. Don't use it blindly. I've seen you Ask Studio put some really bad ideas out there, but it can also put in some good ones if you know how to prompt, as Larry Home Rapid Repair just said. Ask Studio is great. Use it with a coach you trust. Fact check it, just like you'd fact check anything, but give it a shot. Use the A/B testing tool too if you're going to try a new title. Sometimes that is more than enough. I see this from Jim, $25 billion a year market. Man, that still has me shooketh. Do people still say shooketh? Crap, I feel old now, says Jim. It's okay. Andrew, you're an amazing on camera, like top. Well, Jim, you are too kind. Checks in the mail. I appreciate it. I really do. I don't know if I agree with that. It could just be my own bias, but I won't think less likely on that comment. That does mean a lot to me. Really appreciate it. Andrew, you were behind the camera talent. Don't tell us you have a radio face. Look, I'm not going to tell you. I have the voice for the radio and the face for daguerreotypes. Now, you want to talk about old school. That's like real old school. I have the face for, I have the face for telephone. How about that? I wouldn't be in this chat without YouTube. Same here, Beanie. And for Nick Nimmin. YouTube and related business is my future. So now when I'm doing other things, I feel like I'm wasting my time. Thanks for all you do, Andrew. Well, thank you, Home Rapid Repair Larry. I never wanted to be a YouTuber. I just wanted to make art, but I realized that I'm not uncomfortable on camera. And if I'm not uncomfortable on camera, that's a superpower I should take advantage of. Fair enough. And it opened a whole new arena of creativity. Yes. Ike is using this. Andrew has the face for a hand model. Absolutely. I have. This is a fun little story for everyone. I'll share this. I was once asked if I'd like to be a model, and I got so excited. I was like, okay, I've never been asked to model before. And they, they're like, yeah, show up here. So I'm going there. I'm excited to be a model. And like, Andrew, thank you. You know exactly what you're looking for. We saw you and we knew you'd be the right fit. We think you have a great back. Could you take off your shirt? Our model's going to hold your back and hold a perfume near it. And I learned in that moment, they wanted me to be a back model. They did not want this. They wanted the back. So I got a good back is what I learned from that. And it humbled me so quickly. So, yeah, I was a back model for a project. And, yeah, that was a fun one. Nothing humbles you like that, let me just say. So Ike saying I'm a hand model. I've also been asked to model hands. I also have large hands, which I find I've gotten told that before if you're wondering some context. I've got the face to be a back model. There you go. That's what we'll call it. I stopped using almost all other social media because it's the only way I want to connect with people online. Besides Discord. Look, I love Discord. Discord is great. I love YouTube. I love Discord. Threads, you shouldn't discount. Threads has actually been really great. I've met a lot. I've talked to YouTube. Some of the largest brands I've always wanted to reach have just been casually on Threads replying. Threads is great. Don't discount Threads. It was a back model. Like I've got the face to be a back model. Andrew has the face for AI likeness theft, apparently. I do. I have look, some companies have made millions of dollars with my face at the front. I'll just say that. A good strong back is underrated. Now you sound like them. Look, Andrew, a good strong back is underrated. You don't understand what you have. Hello there. Happy to have you here, Evie. Hello. Good to see some new faces here. Welcome to the channel. We're talking about YouTube updates. If you're just joining us, we still have some more to go. All the social media reporters are on Threads. It's true. Mac movement, very fair. I'm good. I'm going to teach a dance fitness class. This was fun. You should. And throw in some back dancing too, just for old Andrew. But hey, we still have some updates from YouTube. They put out some surprising stuff. Did you know that YouTube is getting a new color? YouTube's new hue is here. Don't go anywhere, folks, because we got more updates. This was kind of a stealth little update I noticed that YouTube put out. They tend to do these. And it's about YouTube's new hue. So I want to let this play the story behind a brand new hue. It shows their different icons. It shows their new cooler color. It's red, magenta, and it's more gradient. It shows some of the overall changes on YouTube. These are quite honestly, I've noticed them, but I'm glad they put out this article, once again linked in the description for you. But it's a pretty cool little inside look that we don't normally get from YouTube. Now I am going to zoom in, so it's a little easier to read. Still kind of hard to read. There we go. Anyone who's been online on YouTube, what began in 2005 as a quirky idea, for most of its life, YouTube's brand has been associated with its iconic red logo, but a few months ago, users began to notice a new softer shade of red. And it's true. You'll hear from 6 people who helped spin the color wheel. Let's shout out Robin Lee, Amy Yip, Jesse Zoe, David Amachai, Tom Moran, Linda Hong. All these people and their teams have done something incredible. This comes from Google Design. I think it's important to give credit when credit is due. Shout outs to the people, the teams that make YouTube look as fun and as good as it does. Why change the famous red and change it so subtle? Our refresh journey began with pinpointing YouTube's most outdated elements through research. Color ranked in the top 3, so we knew that evolving our palette would make an immediate and significant impact. It's a big step forward, but not a leap. I like that. The YouTube color changes are a step forward, not a leap. We're not jumping to conclusions. There. See, Tom says we change the product constantly. We're talking over 1,700, not 1,000, 1,700 updates per year. That's pretty insane. But users don't notice incremental changes. We found that if you bundle valuable features with visual design changes, people notice the product has evolved. Very fair. So they talk a lot of it. Here is the new colors. This is the YouTube magenta, coral magenta, YouTube red, coral orange, warm orange, yellow. When designing YouTube's new gradient, the team considered several colors adjacent to red. They landed on magenta for its, connotations of imaginations and evolution. Who also created a new gradient? What inspired the choice? To give YouTube a sense of motion, we created a dynamic red to magenta gradient. So yeah, this is some of the, if you knew about this, great. Here it is in action. I think it's cool. I guess also seizure warning. I'm aware that sometimes it is pretty slow. I will do my best to help with that. So here's some of the new ways the color is being used. Did you notice this kind of color change from YouTube? What are your thoughts on it? I think it's interesting. I like when we get new things like this. How did you keep the change from feeling overwhelming? We didn't want to paint the town red. Red is synonymous with YouTube, but it's used everywhere. Its power is diluted. It's a good point. If you use too much of one thing, it can lose its power. So they wanted to make sure that the framework that outlined how and where to apply our brand colors, focusing on areas. So if you're using an old logo, look at all these new logos from YouTube. There's so many cool things. I like these changes. I like the new design, but I'm curious what you guys think. You should definitely read this article and notice how the colors change as you scroll. Very cool web design from YouTube. Here's the homepage, new progress bars, quieter, YouTube, some of the changes before, after. They talk about why they've done it. They also talk about accessibility when it comes to UI. Look at all the new topic channel icons. Which topic channel icon do you fit in? I tend to be in this one, this one, this one, this one. Curious what you think. I do like that YouTube is always evolving and what's next. They tease updates. Here are some of them. Here are more color resources. And here are more contributors. Really cool to see, I have to say. So I want to know what you think when it comes to YouTube's color overhaul. I've not seen the logo gradient just yet, says Doug. Wow, I'm breaking news to Doug. He still got it, folks. Thank you so much, Gretchen. I do appreciate it. Still can't give us an ad on mobile. Look, I hope it's coming. That's all I can say. Did they have to spin the color wheel 6 times, or was it a very big wheel? Maybe longer than 10 years. Still can't give us that. Hello there. Happy to see you there, Jay. Bye, Kathy Fit. I did notice some of the magenta on the platform. I didn't really think too much about it. I've not seen the logo gradient just yet. They can't give us mobile name tagging, but they can make pretty colors. Yeah. Well, I think if you look at all the changes, they changed the whole UI. And with handles, my prayer is that they're able to allow it. They've been making a lot of changes. Remember YouTube Red before Premium? Yes, I do. I remember. I say I love YouTube TV. Remember YouTube Rewind? I do. They can't give us mobile name tagging, but they can give us much pretty. Yes, they can. But also, look, Google design, YouTube's a huge cruise ship. If you're ever wondering, why does it take a platform like YouTube or Google or Meta or any of these major corporations? It's like moving a cruise ship. A lot of creators, we are fast and nimble, like a speedboat. But YouTube, it's a massive cruise ship with millions. Cruise ships can't hold millions, but YouTube has billions of people using it daily. At least billions of views. Millions of people is probably more accurate. I can't say billions for sure, but billions of people use it monthly. Millions use it daily. And any change they make on YouTube, it may seem small to us, but even if it affects 10%, of the estimated 2.4 billion people that use YouTube a month, 10% is not a small number. It's quite massive. So 10% of 2.4 billion is still, I believe, quite. I think it's like I want to say it's 240 or 24 million. I want to say it's 240 million. Yes, according to my calculator, it is. So 240 million people could be affected by that. That, like, I know I want mobile at handling. We used to have it, but that was before some of the changes. I want it back. Bring it back, please, YouTube. But also, as we're ending this, can we all just take a moment? Well, Leah, thank you. If that is you. Yeah, no, you guys did cool stuff. That's crazy if that's you. Look, YouTube we're all here because of YouTube. So yeah. I watch YouTube on TV almost exclusively now, so I need mobile tagging, says Jim. Fair enough, fair enough. But as we end and as we consider, I want you to just take a moment to remember this didn't exist 20 years ago, and look where we get to all be today. YouTube has changed so many lives, and ultimately, the more things that change for the better, we all win. I'm so happy to be a creator. I love creating content. I hope you guys create content that inspires, that people feel, and that people share. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great day. Let me know in those comments what has been your favorite update. Take care.